Buckle up, guys. Today we are heading straight into Judge Louse's courtroom, where the stakes are high and mistakes are costly. We meet Anthony Capel, a man clearly teetering on the edge of his probation, setting the stage for a tense showdown. The host immediately warns us of the chaos ahead, framing Capel as someone about to learn harsh lessons the hard way. Right away, we see the tension as his attorney outlines financial struggles and warns that Capel is unprepared to handle probation responsibilities. The suspense rises as he admits he won't pass his drug test, revealing a dangerous mix of meth and marijuana. The courtroom atmosphere shifts. Even the judge's sigh signals disappointment. This opening segment hooks viewers, highlighting that poor choices have serious consequences. It's clear this isn't just about money. It's about life-altering decisions. The stage is set, tension is high, and every viewer is now on edge for what's coming next.
All right, People versus Anthony Capel, 227189FY. Mr. Capel appears in person this morning along with counsel Nancy Schaub. Good morning. The prosecution does not appear this morning of their own choosing. In regard to the matter, then, did you have a chance to go over the resentencing recommendations with Mr. Capel?
I did, Your Honor. There's nothing of a factual nature that we need to address in there. I did talk to Mr. Capel about his payments. He's indicated that he was planning on paying with his taxes. I think he has some financial difficulties due to being in and out of work. So I think he's trying to catch up on some back bills and putting the court on the back burner, so to speak. Advised him that's not a good idea. Even paying $5 a week would make an impression on the court. So I think he'll try and do better going forward. With regard to the drug screen today, he advises me that he will not pass the drug screen. And
In what respects are we not going to pass?
said he was going to be positive for marijuana and meth.
All right, guys. Now we dive into the lawyer's desperate attempt to save her client from the looming consequences. She carefully explains that Capel received the meth as a gift, while also mentioning his precarious job situation. The courtroom drama builds as we sense her frustration and thinly veiled exasperation, highlighting just how poorly Capel has handled his responsibilities. There's a palpable tension as she pleads for leniency, trying to balance honesty with justification. Every word she utters increases our anticipation because we know the judge is watching closely. Capel's actions are laid bare, showing a mix of recklessness and naivety. The audience is left questioning if honesty will earn him mercy or accelerate his downfall. This section masterfully blends humor, suspense, and reality, making viewers simultaneously cringe and lean in. By the end, it's obvious that the courtroom is a powder keg waiting to explode. Buckle up, guys. Now we hear directly from Anthony Capel, whose explanation of his work hours and financial stress adds a human dimension, yet also fuels the tension. He struggles to justify how he's juggling reduced hours, small paychecks, and ongoing probation fees. The suspense comes from watching him navigate his own narrative while the audience already knows his situation is precarious. The rotating schedule, limited income, and pending W-2 form all illustrate the chaos of his life and the limited room for error. We see his vulnerability, but it's overshadowed by recklessness. Meth usage remains a glaring red flag. The segment teeters between sympathy and judgment, leaving viewers conflicted yet engaged. Each line of dialogue builds anticipation as we wait to see whether the judge will show leniency or deliver a harsh sentence. The tension is subtle but constant, providing insight into how personal circumstances collide with legal obligations.
Well, I think that's a real good reason, Mr. Capel, to start looking at why you can't make any probation cost payments. You're spending it all on meth. Anyway, go ahead, Ms. Schaub. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Your Honor, he was honest with me that he would not pass. I discussed with him where he got it, and he apparently said it was a gift.
All right, guys. Things get serious now as Judge Laus meticulously reviews Capel's underlying felony charges and probation conditions. The courtroom energy spikes as we are reminded of the gravity of his prior offenses: assault, dangerous weapon use, and reckless firearm behavior. Every word from the judge underscores the consequences of poor decisions, while highlighting the contrast between law and Capel's repeated violations. The audience feels the weight of suspense as the judge notes prior probation compliance, now undone by recent drug use. The meticulous recounting of past incidents illustrates just how close Capel has come to irreversible damage. Each statement builds tension, showing that probation is not just a suggestion. It's a legal contract with severe consequences. The moment is sobering, with viewers fully aware that Capel is skating on thin ice. By the end of this segment, anticipation for the judge's verdict is at a peak.
But obviously, given his circumstances, that was not a wise choice. But he does have a full-time job. If he goes to jail for 15 days, I don't know if that job will be available when he gets out of jail. So I don't know what the court wants to do with Mr. Capel. I don't know how. I had notes prior to his pleading to this that he had been testing clean and doing what he was supposed to do, but apparently he's gotten a little bit off track. I'm hoping the court will give him one more break and not put him in jail today.
Thank you. Mr. Capel, anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I work at hometown right now. We're reduced to winter hours.
What?
We're reduced hours right now because it's the slow season. So I'm only getting like 32-ish a week. So it's like $500 a paycheck, roughly, give or take, after taxes. But I should have enough today for, if not half, majority of the court costs that I owe. Because of 4 seasons, I clocked enough hours, I think. I'm just waiting on the W-2. SE. I worked there for 2 days.
Buckle up, guys. This is the courtroom crescendo, where Judge Laus unleashes a no-nonsense lecture that leaves Capel visibly cornered. The judge dissects his repeated meth usage, inability to control behavior, and blatant disregard for probation terms. Red flags go up with every line as the audience realizes the danger of his actions. The lecture is sharp, engaging, and serves as a masterclass in accountability, blending frustration, authority, and legal expertise. It's impossible to look away as the judge makes it crystal clear. Capel's poor choices could have had deadly consequences. Suspense peaks because we know a decision is coming that will dramatically impact Capel's freedom. This is the moment where tension reaches its apex. The judge's words carry both judgment and a warning that resonates beyond the courtroom. Viewers are left holding their breath, waiting for the inevitable.
Well, Mr. Capel, anything else you'd like to add?
May should go back to regular hours. So I'll have a lot better time
How long have you been there?
since July.
And what are you working now then?
What's a rotating schedule? So it's 8 to 4 with Wednesday off. And then the Saturday off for my work camp. And then it's 9 to 4 or 9 to 5 with Wednesday off. And then I work that Saturday 8 to 1. That's if I don't get sent home early, because we have a high school kid that comes in about 3:30. Usually I can get a couple hours for the end of the day there.
Well, I have some serious concerns here. This was an underlying felony, Mr. Capel. You had 2 charges of assault with a dangerous weapon, felonious assault, felony firearm, reckless use of a firearm, and it was a very troubling underlying situation. In a dating relationship, argument the day before, pushed her on several occasions. Victim and another victim were present in the apartment. You became upset, retrieved a revolver from your bedroom, brandished the revolver, and demanded everyone leave the apartment. That was pled down by the prosecutor's office. You ended up pleading on a domestic violence, an assault and battery, and a reckless use of a firearm, all in misdemeanor court. That you were placed on probation for in January of 2023. Your bond condition, sir, where you were not supposed to be using marijuana or other types of controlled substances that weren't prescribed to you way back in November of 2022. That was put into place. That continued when you were sentenced in January of 2023.
All right, guys, here comes the climax and resolution of this courtroom drama. Judge Laus announces a 15-day jail sentence with conditional early release if Capel passes a drug screen, placing the responsibility squarely in his hands. The suspense is tangible. Viewers are fully invested in whether Capel will comply or face the full sentence. The judge's clear instructions and stern tone emphasize personal accountability, while Capel's predicament illustrates how quickly repeated missteps can escalate. The segment ends with a host's wrap-up, delivering a critical lesson. Poor choices have real consequences. It's satisfying, yet cautionary, blending justice, suspense, and moral reflection. The narrative closes strongly, leaving viewers both entertained and reminded of the stakes in probation violations. The courtroom drama comes full circle, making this an impactful conclusion.
In regard to the matter, then, we've had several blips with your probation, and then most recently, what you're being sentenced for today was on September 20th, you had a positive for methamphetamine. Here we are in January of 2024, and your lawyer's telling me you're still going to be positive. I lowered your payment to $100 a month starting back then in October, and you still haven't made any payments because from what it seems like to me, the money's going out the door. Maybe you've got less hours, but you have not. How do you justify purchasing methamphetamine? You can't. And maybe it was a gift, maybe it wasn't, but now we got September and January on top of everything else going on here. It sounds to me from the behavior that was demonstrated at the underlying charge, you had probably some meth going on that day and an inability to control your anger due to the ingestion of meth. It does not do good things to people. You're lucky you didn't kill somebody that day. This is absolutely ridiculous. Now you come in here telling me, I can't go to jail, Judge, because, I'm going to lose my job and I value my job. If you valued your job, you wouldn't have been doing meth. You know you're being watched. I mean, how bad of a problem do you have when you know you're being watched? You're coming in to get sentenced for violating your probation for using meth, and you come in here dirty for meth. That's not my problem. That's your problem. That's a big problem. That's what you're telling me. Red flags going up all over. Problem. Can't even control my behavior enough when I know I'm going to go to court and get sentenced. So I am sorry, Mr. Capel. Sometimes we are our own worst enemies, aren't we? I don't know what to tell you here, but this is absolutely ridiculous.
Give me 3 weeks, I can guarantee.
She's not worried about the payment. She's worried about you doing
I can
drugs.
guarantee you clean UA, and then I'll guarantee everyone after that to be clean.